with Chuck Rocha, because I saw that chin drop to the table as soon as we were talking about these tariffs. What's on your mind?
Look, I was looking to see how much an iPhone costs because I knew it cost a lot. I didn't realize it cost $1,200. Now,
that's what that was about.
Yeah, and I wrote down some other numbers down here to say that if we were to make these things in America, that would go to $3,500. And I checked that to see what's the wage in China to make an iPhone, and it's, wait for it, $3.63 an hour is what it cost in China to make. The minimum wage in California, I don't have to look that up, is $16.50. The folks who like cheap iPhones are the folks that voted for Donald Trump. This is what's going to hurt him the most. The parties have switched, and it embarrasses me every single day that a lot of working class folks who didn't go to college like me love them some Donald Trump. But they also love cheap stuff from China. This is where it's going to bite him.
All right, Malik, when you hear this and you see the markets react, and every time he opens his mouth about tariffs, somebody gets hurt.
So there are some good things that Donald Trump has done when it comes to tariffs. I think that the 10% baseline is a very good starting point. Apparently, there have been some issues with negotiations with the EU. As someone who literally, as of today, just upgraded a new phone, I'm glad that I got this. I am glad that I got this phone. Now, this was already $1,100. I can imagine paying even more for that. And I actually agree with Chuck here. And this is another one of those instances where you ask
my phone real quick.
It's on tape, don't worry.
But you ask yourself whether or not this is one of those other instances where a more scalpel approach could work. I think that Donald Trump, in this case, he probably is doing a similar thing to what he did to China. He's trying to actually get them to the table. Whether or not you have to threaten a 50% tariff is another story. And I do agree, though, if we get to a point, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about phones or the price that we pay in the stores, if Trump voters are having to pay more, and me, in being a Trump voter, we are going to have a problem because I want to pay as little as possible for quality merchandise. So I do think that it will be a problem if customers, whether it's Trump, supporters or not, if we have to pay more, at whatever point that is, it will be a problem for Donald Trump.
Now, Pete, see, one of the things that you if you step back and look at what the Republican Party has been about or said they were about is less government, less interference with businesses. That is not what's happening here. What's happening?
Well, I think President Trump genuinely wants the iPhone to be manufactured in the United States of America.
But he's telling the company what to do.
Because it's an iconic product, and he wants to be able to say, this is American made. There's value in that. But Chuck, you want to record this too? Please. It pains my heart to say I also agree with you.
Oh my God.
But I
What is
agree with
happening?
No, I agree with the fact that a lot of people don't have any clue how much their iPhone costs.
Yeah.
Because they trade in, they get that massive rebate, or they split the cost over months and months and months and months, and don't realize that it's $1,200 or $1,500. And it's the challenge with what President Trump wants to do. I mean, really, either tactic, whether it's the 25% tariff or bringing manufacturing to the United States, it's the same outcome, as you guys have said. The price will go up regardless. American labor is not cheap. And there is a consequence to that we're not talking about enough in this conversation, in the entire tariff conversation.
And can I sort of add to that a little bit? Because the problem isn't just that the iPhone would be more expensive. It certainly would. But actually, it is not possible to bring iPhone manufacturing to the United States. Our economy does not support it. We do not have the factories in place to do the work. We do not have workers. Howard Lutnick has said, he wants all the iPhone screws to be screwed in by workers here in the United States. Who do you know that actually wants to screw in iPhone parts at a factory in the U.S.? American consumers want cheap iPhones, but they don't want these jobs. And why should they in a labor market that is as strong as our labor market is today?
Well, can I just piggyback on that real quick? Because the New York Times had an article today going through all the various reasons why manufacturing likely wouldn't come here. And they actually said when it comes to those screws that Chinese laborers, particularly women, have smaller hands. That's literally one of the reasons for why they would want to keep manufacturing
And
there.
can I do one more piece on that since we're doing some numbers? So we're in a situation where, as of today, with this 50% EU tariff, we have the highest tariff rates this country has seen since 1909. You said Trump voters aren't going to like when prices go up. The budget lab at Yale that I run crunched the numbers this morning. As a result of these reciprocal tariffs, we're going to be in a situation where the average American family is going to pay $3,800 more each year for literally everything that they buy. And I just don't quite understand how that is a tenable political proposition, especially in the light of an election in 2024 that in meaningful ways felt like it was about inflation and high prices.
You know, in this final season of America, I always often say is that like this would be all very entertaining if I didn't actually live here and if real people weren't actually affected. But I need for all of those billionaires to step to the front of the class. Because what have we learned? Tim Cook gave $1 million to Donald Trump. This is what it got you. Jeff Bezos gave money. All of them give money, and the same thing keeps happening. As soon as he doesn't like something that you do, it's not buying you influence, it's not buying you a yes, it's not buying all the things that you allegedly gave money to him to get. So once again, I need people to understand bullies keep bullying. They don't stop. You give them what they want. They only want more. It's a reason why they use the phrase, and I'm not calling Donald Trump this, don't negotiate with terrorists. It's a reason why they say that. It's because once you cave in, it never ceases. And this is another example. So part of me wants to laugh at Tim Cook's face because he is the one that gave the money to him. And now look at what you brought on yourself.
Well, here's my out of left field idea. President Trump has
Wait
met
a minute,
with
did
Tim
you say
Cook.
out of left field, not out of right field?
Good point. It's just a phrase
just
people
asking.
use, Sarah.
I'm just asking.
Left field.
Yeah,
Let's go
whatever.
left field.
It's a baseball time. Anyway, so President Trump has met with Tim Cook twice or three times in the last week in the Middle East and at the White House. Again, this is a crazy out of left, right field thought. Is perhaps Apple is moving something to the U.S. or maybe friend-shoring it, near-shoring it to Central America, and Trump is throwing this out there in advance of an announcement so he can say, it's because of me.
Did it because
That he
of
can
him.
say, I won something.
Maybe, but the reality is that they have already started onshoring and friend-shoring to countries that are not China in order to help deal with the national security risks. They're moving big parts of their production to India and Vietnam. And so, if anything, the way these tariffs are being effectuated in this trade policy, this is like the 56th time or something that tariff policy has moved since President Trump took office. And I feel like that is making the markets unstable, but it's also a business environment that's really unstable. If you're Tim Cook trying to plan where exactly should you be doing your manufacturing, if not China?
You brought up India, and specifically Trump mentioned not building factories in India when he sent out his social media on this, saying that he was going to put tariffs of 25% onto Apple. I do want to ask you, Chuck, when you sort of step back from all of this and you look at the bigger picture of all of this, how are businesses supposed to operate when this just keeps shifting every single day? This tactic we have seen before, and Trump says, huge win, China is now coming to the table, but really he capitulated.
Long-term investment is really important for business communities and for workers because that's where the investment happens. But I'll also say electorally, and we don't give enough credit to Donald Trump here. Write that down somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
That
What is happening
This
today?
is quite the night.
trade is somebody who lost their job. I worked in a tire factory. A lot of y'all know that. That job went overseas where my daddy worked, where I worked, where 6 of my uncles worked, and lots of my cousins. I know the trauma that happens in local communities when those jobs are outsourced in rural East Texas. So there are parts of our economy where the scalpel approach on tariffs with steel, aluminum, car parts, gasoline, wood, our paper industry we have unbuckled and sent to China. Like that kind of thing could be brought back. Those kind of jobs could be here. And those jobs pay $20, $30 an hour, and we're used to paying that for those. It's the small, cheap toys or the iPhones is where it really hurts folks.
All right, we are going to have a lot of other things to discuss, but that was a good